I am thrilled to talk with all of you today. My name is Julia McDay, and I'm honored to serve as a youth ambassador for TAAF this year. 2 years ago, when I was 16, my life took a dramatic turn when I suffered a massive hemorrhagic stroke while attending a friend's birthday party. Many hours later, my small hospital flew me to Stanford, where the doctors told my parents I had a life-threatening disease called an arteriovenous malformation that had resulted in an aneurysm popping in my brain. I was in a coma for many days and underwent 6 surgeries and procedures. I stared death straight in the eye, but my relentless spirit refused to surrender. I was reborn again, given a second chance to redeem myself. After almost 3 months in the hospital and rehab, my family and I were released into a new world, left facing my disabilities and challenges with no clear path for recovery. The harsh reality of our situation grew more and more real and heavy. Now, hold that emotion as I share with you something else for a moment. Recently, I was asked to think of a poem that connected with me, and Invictus instantly came to mind. When he was 12, the poet William Ernest Henley had his leg amputated due to a prior diagnosis of tuberculosis of the bone. Later on, in his 20s, he wrote this poem about his own circumstances because of his disease, highlighting how he faced adversity, but ultimately how he was willing to determine his own fate. Translated from Latin, the title Invictus means undefeated. Returning to my own story, my family and I were lost, unsure where to turn to for support. I felt lost and vulnerable as the outside society didn't want to know my story or what I faced. Like the poet, I had to turn inward to find the strength to heal. My mom had to become my advocate, demanding medical, rehabilitation, and educational services for me. I made it my daily mission to work hard towards a full recovery. I had to persevere no matter how daunting the road ahead appeared, just like the poet had to. I have put in over 1,000 hours of occupational, physical, and speech therapy. I went from being transferred from bed to a wheelchair to now walking with a brace. Although I still have no feeling in my foot and need assistance and help putting on my shoes, I managed to walk through this world with grace and confidence, and I hope to be able to dance and run again soon. My right hand and arm were hit the hardest as they don't have much function yet. My dreams of becoming a professional pianist were shattered when the stroke paralyzed my right hand. It pains me inside to watch my mom constantly having to help me with many things that require both hands. Growing up, we're taught to become independent and learn essential skills like tying our own shoes, putting on our own clothes, or doing our own hair. But sometimes circumstances beyond our control can strip us of that independence. I personally experienced this when the AVM struck me. Because I lost my peripheral vision, I cannot and may not ever be able to drive. I turned 18 recently, and while my friends can drive themselves to college or work, I have to be driven everywhere for my ongoing appointments. I lost my independence the day the AVM bled. I have aphasia now, which is a language disorder that affects the way I communicate. My mom and I worked on letters, numbers, and shapes for the first 6 months after I came home from the hospital. Now, I'm giving a speech in front of all of you. A few months ago, I gave another speech at my initial graduating class at our high school, where I received a standing ovation. Last year, when I returned to school part-time, I challenged myself by taking an AP English course as my first going back to school class. And you know why? Because any challenge you throw at me, I will make it out on the other side, standing up tall, strong, and determined. It all comes down to the power of your own mindset and the conscious belief in your ability to overcome any obstacle that arises in your life. I believe the same about this, that one day I will overcome the hardships, that I will be cured of this AVM, and that I will recover what I have lost. As we walked today in recognition of aneurysms and AVMs, I want each and every one of you to thank yourselves and the people surrounding you for coming to this event. This event is a stepping stone towards advocating for this disease and condition, in the hopes of more scientific research that will benefit us. Let us continue to shine a spotlight on this important cause. Thank you.